Hi guys, welcome to the Code Python channel. So in today's video, we're going to learn on how to set up the environment to run the Python programs. So let's begin our video. So basically in our today's video, we're going to cover on how to install the Python as well as we have to have one IDE, which is basically where the Python code is going to go in and we are going to run our programs. So I'm just going to go and open my Google Chrome. So for installing, first thing first is Python. So to install, you can just click on Python download. The first link which appears in the Google Chrome. So you just have to go ahead and you can click on the download Python. So which will take you inside the Python website. And here you're gonna see basically the versions which are available. So the latest version is 3.8. So it's all up to you. I mean, like which version you want to go in and download. So I am basically going to go ahead and I'm going to download the latest version which is available, I guess. So let me just see. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to install the 3.8.2, which was released on February 24th of 2020. So once you go down, once you click on the file on the Python 3.8.2, so you're gonna go all the way scrolling down to the website page and you're gonna basically get this kind of files which you can basically download. Here the things are, so you can have a web-based installer, you can also install with an executable installer. So what I'm gonna do is first you have to have the bit version which you want to install. So I'm gonna go ahead. I usually use 64-bit operating system, so I'm gonna go and install the 64-bit of the Python installer. So I'm just gonna go click the Windows x86 64 executable installer. So it is downloading here. It's not much of a big file. It's like 26 MB, I guess. Yeah. So the second thing which we basically need is the IDE. So there are many IDEs, famous IDEs, which the IDEs which commonly I use is the VS Code as well as the PyCharm. So I'm not gonna go like in the debugging mode right now. So I'm not gonna use PyCharm. So we are just gonna download the Visual Studio Code download. So the first link which you're gonna get is the Visual Studio Code. So you can see download Visual Studio Code for Mac, Linux, and Windows. So you just can click on this. You just don't have to worry, guys. I mean, these links will be provided in the descriptions, so you can go ahead and check it out. And the operating system which are listed and which are supported by Visual Code is Linux, Mac, and Windows. So what we're gonna do is we are going to click on the Windows because basically I'm running on a Windows operating system. So my operating system is again a 64-bit operating system, so I'm just gonna install 64-bit rather not 32-bit. If you guys have using 32-bit, then you can just go ahead and use the 32-bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick system installer and I'm gonna click on a 64-bit. Okay guys, so we have the code, sorry, the executable files already downloaded. So I'm just gonna go the place where it is downloaded so you can see. Let me just make this icons large so you guys can see. So first thing first is we're gonna install the Python. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna open the file, the executable file here. So it's gonna ask you to run the file. So once you open the file, you are going to see this kind of window. So what I does is if you gonna click on the install now, it is basically going to install the Python in your C users and uh, the location whatever it is showing here. What I usually do is I usually make do a custom install basically. So I am not gonna install in documentation ideally or test suites, and I am going to basically install this for all the users. So I'm just gonna leave this to check and the pip check, and then I'm gonna click on the next. So here you guys can see you can basically click on the install for all users if you want, because so apart from that, so you guys can see there is a file which is already been written over here. But if you guys want to make any directory, then you can click on the browse option. You just have to select the path where you want to install it. So I'm just going to install it on the C drive, and then I have already a folder named as Python 3.8. So I am going to select this, I'm going to click on OK, and I'm going to install it. And before installing this, you might also have to check this option, the fourth option. So basically what it does is it adds the Python path to your environment variables. So when you open it in from the command, so your Windows will be able to recognize the Python path. So let's just install it. It's asking again, so I'm just going to click on yes, and it's going to start the process. Okay guys, so you can see here the setup was successful. So I am going to click on the close to just close the dialog. And so what we're going to do is, before installing the VS Code, so I am here going to I'm going to open the command prompt. So let me just open a command prompt. And if you just type in Python and click on and hit enter, so you're gonna see the version which it has installed. So you can see 3.8.2 has been installed. And now the second thing is we are gonna install the IDE to write our code. So I'm just gonna click on the VS Code and I'm gonna open the executable. Okay, so this window is going to pop up. So I just want to click on, you just have to accept the agreement here and then click on the next. And you don't have to select, I mean you can select if you want to install it somewhere else, but I'm just gonna make use of the default path which the Visual Studio Code has been using. So I'm just going to click on next. I'm just going to keep it as a default, and then I'm going to click on the next. So if you want to create a desktop icon, then you can click on the check here, and I have the part of this visual code has been already added. The the box has already been checked. So I'm just going to keep it like this, and I'm going to click on next. Install. As you can see, the dialog is appearing that the Visual Studio Code has been successfully installed. So I'm gonna basically keep this check, and I'm gonna click on finish so that it's going to open the Visual Studio Code. As of now, we have successfully installed Python setup as well as the IDE. So we're going to learn, I'm just going to test it out if our Python setup is working properly. So in my desktop screen, you guys can see a folder being created, which is code Python. So I'm going to open it. I'm going to create a file inside it. So for creating a file, I'm going to open the command prompt. So what you can do is you can basically type cmd in the bar here, and you can click on enter. So it's going to open a command prompt. Here I am going to create a file. So I'm going to create a file using touch and then the name of the file which I want to create. Here I'm going to create hello youtube.py file. Enter. So it has created. So let's just see if the file has been created or not. So I'm just going to type dir. So you guys can see the file has been created, which is hello underscore YouTube. So I'm going to minimize this window, and I'm going to open the Visual Studio Code. I'm going to the first thing first is to open the file. So I'm just going to click on file and then the open file option from here. You can see this, there is a code underscore Python, which was our desktop folder where we have created our hello youtube.py file. I have clicked on it, opened it, and there you can see here is our file. I'm just going to select it and click on open. So the file has been opened in our Visual Studio Code. So I am just for the testing purpose, I'm going to write a small function which is going to be hello underscore YouTube. Okay, and in this function I'm just going to print out nothing is like our Python setup is up and running. And I for this function to run to this function to run, I am basically going to invoke this function. So this is like a test function which I have written to test our environment which we have just set up. I am gonna save it by Control S, and I'm gonna minimize it. And we have opened the command prompt earlier, so I'm gonna go into that command prompt window, and I'm gonna type Python and then followed by the file which we have created. That's the hello underscore youtube.py file. So you can basically write hello and then underscore whatever, and then you can hit tab to auto complete your file name, and then you can hit on enter. So you guys can see our output is up and displaying on the command prompt saying our Python setup is up and running. So this concludes our video. So we have successfully installed Python and VS Code editor. Hope this might have helped you set up the Python environment. So in the next video, guys, we are going to be learning about variables in Python. So until next video, happy coding.